Welcome back again to Charlie Tuk Tuk Network. And our mission at Charlie is very simple: to redefine the Tuk Tuk economy to one that is easily accessible, reliable, and comfortable to our drivers, investors, and community. We strongly believe that the future is a three-wheeler because in the previous decades, we were raised without tuk-tuks, but right now the next generation is being raised while observing tuk-tuks. So that simply means that these kids, these Gen Zs, they are simply going to invest in the tuk-tuk economy. The millennial generation is heavily investing in the tuk-tuk economy. And by that, we know that there are going to be mistakes and people are going to lose their money. So if you do not want to lose your money and you're looking to invest into the tuk-tuk economy, then this video is for you. And today we are going to be looking at what are the red flags that you need to avoid when buying a second-hand tuk-tuk. So we are going to be talking about the red flags that you need to avoid every time you're going out there to buy a second tuk-tuk, because due to the high rate of inflation, things have really gone up and the tuk-tuk has really skyrocketed its price from around $3,000 just before 2020 to up to around 4,000, I think $4,500. That is around 500,000 Kenya shillings, or so. Ukitaka tu tuk-tuk between, kama ni mpya na hiyo ni mpya unataka, it's always going to be from 470,000 to 520,000 depending on the model, whether it's a TVS, whether it's the Piaggio, whether it's the Dayun, whether it's the Mahindra. There are so many different types of tuk-tuks, but this video is going to cover the things that you need to look for, because the new tuk-tuk is a little bit, some people consider it a little bit expensive, a little bit overpriced. Well, you can always go ahead and buy a second-hand tuk-tuk, but before you buy the second-hand tuk-tuk, you always need to make sure that you watch out for these few points. So make sure to take out your notebook so that you may start writing some of these tips down, because they're really going to help you during the buying process of your first, second, or third tuk-tuk. So point number one is that you always need to make sure that you check the chassis number. Why is it important? It's important because the chassis number ndio itakuwa kwa logbook na ndio itakuwa kwa insurance. So you always need to make sure that the chassis number matches with the chassis number on the insurance holder's card. And secondly, you also need to make sure that the engine yenye iko kwa hiyo tuk-tuk inaendanisha na ile engine number yenye imeandikwa kwa logbook. If there is a difference between the two, kama unaona azimatch chassis number inaendanisha na engine, then either hiyo tuk-tuk iligeuzwa engine, that is the first most possible scenario. Either hiyo tuk-tuk ilinok engine na ikaharibika kitu kubwa sana, so ikabidi imegeuzwa kitu kama block, or a very major component, which is always the housing of the engine. Juu hizo ndizo vitu zinafanyanga upate hizo namba ni tofauti. Either hiyo tuk-tuk iliibiwa, ikatolewa engine, ikabaki na chassis. So you now ask the owner of the tuk-tuk who is selling with that tuk-tuk, why is this discrepancy available? Kwa nini hizi vitu haziendanishani vile zinafaa? Hiyo ni point number one, and that is a very very big red flag, because hapo ndo unasikianga due diligence muhimu. Unaweza ndo ununue tuk-tuk second hand, upate iliibiwa Mombasa, ikapelekwa maybe Kisumu ama ikaletwa Nairobi, imekatwakatwa. Sasa wewe unauziwa chassis, unadhani iko sawa engine, only to find yourself later on umeshtakiwa, umeshikwa, and it's going to be a very very tiresome and tedious journey. So that always make sure that you check out on the chassis number, the engine number, na zikuwe zinaendanisha na insurance, na zikuwe zinaendanisha na logbook ya tuk-tuk. Then two, you always need to go ahead and check hata before uingie ndani uanze kuangalia appearance. When it comes to the tuk-tuk, appearance kwanza hiyo achana nayo. Angalia vitu kama brake pad ziko aje. Chukua hiyo tuk-tuk, piga kamba kama ni Piaggio ama kama ni TVS, start the tuk-tuk, ride it, kanyaga hizo brake, kanyaga emergency, usikanyage. Ukisikia ni za kupump, then know there is either lining zimeisha ama drum iko na kasoro. So and ukinunua tuktuk, you take your time, umeenda kuinspect. Hii ni pesa yako unaekelea, unataka kuinvest, na naelewa wewe ni kijana ama ni mzee mahali na unataka kuingia kwa industry, you start enjoying the fruits of your labor. So make sure that you check the lining, you check the brakes. Juu usipoangalia hizo vitu, unaweza nunua hiyo tuktuk utoke nayo uende upate nayo accident just along the way, simply because you ignored. So you need to check, uzunguka nayo, kanyaga hizo emergency brakes as much as possible, uhakikishe inashika. Kama inashika, fungua tuktuk. Hapa tujaanza na mechanic, you don't even need the mechanic at this point. Hii ni wewe kwanza kufanya due diligence yako. And I hope that while you're doing all of this, of course, umeenda na kakitabu unaandika, so that it can help you to now evaluate the tuktuk. So angalia breki, umeona lining ziko sawa, gari nashika brakes vizuri. Second, number 3, angalia hizo drum uone kama ziko sawa, kama zimekuliwa ama hazijakuliwa, depending on how old the tuktuk that you're taking is. Na pia itakuonyesha vitu zingine, madereva ama mtu alikuwa anaendesha tuktuk alikuwa anaiendesha aje. Juu ukiona drum zimekuliwa ndani, ukiona drum zimeisha, then it simply means one, it is going to incur you a cost ya kununua drum after umenunua hiyo tuktuk. So that's an extra expense. Na ujue drum za tuktuks, they are not that cheap. You might go for as much as 4,000 to 5,000 Kenya shillings. So you know that's a hefty amount. So if you're buying the tuktuk, let's say at 300,000 or 250,000, well, ukiongezea drum 3 inamaanisha nini? Hiyo ni 15,000. So you just bought it at 265,000. That is the cost of the repair. So unaangalia hizo drum kama ziko sawa, ama kama moja ama mbili ndio zimeisha. Second, hapo tuko tu kwa miguu, unaangalia stand, you make sure hizo miguu ziko na stand zote. Stand ni zile borot zenye zinashikilianga drum na mguu ya tuktuk. So because the brake system ya tuktuk inatumianga hiyo, bado inatumia drum, haitumii kama zile za gari vile zinakuanga. So the brake ya tuktuk ni a little bit old fashion. So unaangalia hizo drum, umeona zijakuliwa, stand zenye ziko kwa hizo miguu ziko sawa, check. Then you go to the next phase, and the next phase is now that you always need to buy the tuktuk when it is unclean. Usinunue gari ikiwa safi. Hiyo gari imeoshwa, imepeleka car wash, au utajua kama ina leak, au utajua kama iko na shida yote. Uzuri wa tuktuk kuwa chafu ni ati hiyo chafu inajishikilianga pale kwa engine, so you are able to know where the engine is faulty, where the gearbox is faulty, sababu ikishikana itakuwa blackish. So kama hiyo tuktuk ina leak oil, of course ile mchanga itashikana na oil and you will notice hapa kuna some leakage, or I will need a repair very fast in the near future. Those are the things you need in order to bargain for that tuktuk kwa mtu mwenye anakuuzia. So ukiona tu ni safi, actually uko na haki ya kuambia huyo mtu utamlipa hiyo siku mzima yake, yukomboe hiyo tuktuk siku mzima, chapa nayo kazi, izungushe, ipeleke kwa vumbi, yani hiyo tuktuk iendeshe, ijae vumbi huko nyuma kwa engine, ikuwe exposed ndio uweze kuona uto leakages tuko wapi. Maybe inaweza kuwa seal ndio zimeisha, lakini sababu imeoshwa hutajua. Inaweza kuwa dipstick imeisha, lakini hautajua sababu imeoshwa. So you buy it when it's dirty. You are going to wash it later on. It's not that expensive to take a tuktuk to a car wash, and it is really worth the price. So usinunue tuktuk safi, hakikisha imechakaa. And most of the tuktuks zenye utanunua ni either imelala mahali, like inaitwangwaje, like it was no longer, hiyo tuktuk haijakuwa ikifanya kazi, maybe for 1 year, for 2 years, zingine tunaweza pata imelala for 3 years. If that is not the case, hiyo tuktuk imekuwa ikifanya kazi lakini iko na mashida, so mwenye anakuuzia ameamua yoshe. Niliwaambia in Africa hakuna mtu atakuuzia tuktuk sababu anataka, not unless akuwa anaenda majuu Dubai or somewhere. Lakini ati mtu atakuja kwambia I'm just selling. People always sell because they have a problem, or they want to get something better. So they are simply going to bring to you all of your problems if you're not a smart tuk-tuk investor. So you need to, or tuk-tuk entrepreneur, you need to make sure tuk-tuk ni chafu. So the next thing that you need to go and check is the electric circuit. Angalia hizo cable, kama kuna yenye makatika, kama kuna yenye mechomeka. Angalia flasha ya mataa kama inafanya, because as long as the electric circuit iko sawa, hiyo tuk-tuk inamaanisha mataa zinafanya sawa, the indicators are good, the hazards are good, the lamp lights are good, the nyuma ziko sawa, so that you don't incur a cost ya kununua tuk-tuk alafu tena uende uifanyie repair ya kuifanyia wiring. Cause the wiring, ukienda kununua wiring system ya tuk-tuk, it's going to cost you more than 10,000 including with the mechanic inclusive. So add that to the amount. So if wiring iko na shida, that's an advantage for you as the buyer. You get to bargain, mwambie nikatie ngiri 5 ama nikatie ngiri 10. You know, if wiring ziko sawa, well, good and for you, inamaanisha hiyo tuk-tuk unatoka ukiingiza kwa barabara ikiendesha. The other thing, kama the wiring circuit iko sawa, unaweza nunua tuk-tuk alafu ufike huko mbele ushikwe sababu gari haina mataa ama gari indicator hazifanyi ama hata ianze kuungua. You know, a tuk-tuk is a simple vehicle. And if there is any fault in the circuit, unaweza kuwa unaendesha hiyo tuk-tuk usikie inanuka moshi ndani, kumbe waya zimeanza kuchomeka. These incidences have happened. So you need to check the circuit system, uhakikishe kila kitu iko sawa. But if you are not, the basics ni washa mataa, angalia tu hizo cable vile zimezunguka, you know. If you want an expert, you can always go to the tuk-tuk expert, anaitwa Kawaya, located at Githurai. This guy atakusaidia kwenda kuinspect hiyo tuk-tuk yote, hakikisha the wiring system iko sawa, na atakwambia kama mataa ziko na shida, zina shida. Now that will go hand in hand with the flywheel compartment of the engine. Piga hiyo tuk-tuk kamba, na I always advise ukienda kununua tuk-tuk, mtu anakuuzia hiyo tuk-tuk asigurumisha asubuhi. Ende ukuwe mtu wa kwanza kuigurumisha asubuhi, ndio ujue kama iko na hard start, ndio ujue kama iko na shida na tappet. You know, juu akigurumisha aendeshe alafu akuje sasa wewe ndio umekuja kununua, uende tu chape kamba, hautajua shida hiyo tuk-tuk. So you make sure that asubuhi unamwambia nakuja 6:30 nitakuwa nimefika, ama 5 nitakuwa nimefika, ama hiyo tuk-tuk usifanyie kitu yote hadi nifike, which sasa utajua aje? Si ni uchangamke uende uangalie tuk-tuk asubuhi mapema. Piga hiyo tuk-tuk kamba ama piga hiyo tuk-tuk starter, ndio ujue kama iko sawa pande ya flywheel, because hiyo ndio pande inasaidia kugurumisha tuk-tuk. You can always check kama iko na starter ama ina starter, but rarely will you find a second hand tuk-tuk with a functioning starter. So that's the thing about it. So starter, ignore it, just go with inapiga kamba vizuri. Haufai kupump hiyo kamba ukipiga hiyo tuk-tuk. It need to be zungusha, piga kamba mara moja, hiyo tuk-tuk igurume. Ikiguruma unaangalia inatoa moshi gani. Inatoa moshi ya black, inatoa moshi ya white, inatoa moshi ya blue. Juu kila moshi kuna kenye nakwambia kwa hiyo tuk-tuk. Unaona? So you need to make sure. Na sasa hiyo ndio part ndakwambia, kama we ni kurutu or if you're an amateur or a rookie, then it's better now to have a mechanic hapo angalie hiyo tuk-tuk. Sasa I confirm kama inatoa moshi ya black, hiyo iko sawa. Kama inatoa moshi ya white ama ya blue, then there is a problem somewhere within the engine compartment or the fuel compartment of the engine. So that is a red flag that you need to be aware of. So these things are important because you're going to be putting your money into that vehicle and you're expecting it to bring you a return on investment. So make sure you are writing these points down, especially if you're considering to go there and buy a second-hand tuk-tuk. Now, once you have checked the circuit system, you need now to go and check the battery. Unaangalia battery ni type gani, unaangalia kama ni dry cell ama ni ile ya kuweka maji, wet cell. So kama ni wet cell, jua hiyo itachapa haraka sana ama hata iko karibu kufikisha lifespan yake. Kama ni hiyo nyingine dry cell, yeah, that one can give you some lifespan. So uangalie kama pia ni kale ka battery kadogo, you know, kuna N70, kuna N50, kuna N40 na kuna pia kale kadogo I think sijui ni N10 ama ni N20. So you need to look also at the type of battery, kama ni chloride oxide, kama ni Boost, kama you, because the type of battery will tell you the lifespan of the battery in the near future. And unaangalia pia zinaitwangwaje, unaangalia hizo meno za battery zikoaje. You also need to make sure that you check them if they are rusty or if they have been lubricated. So once you are done with that, you are finished with the electric part of the system. I told you Tuktuk haina sensor, haina vitu kama GPS, so you don't need to worry about all these advanced features. Just need to look at the basics. Unaweza confirm kama gauge inafanya, kama gauge haifanyi, it's something that you can fix. You can overlook it or you can make sure it's working. Second is that you check for any leakages in the engine, and you can only check the leakages when the engine is dirty. If the engine is clean, especially the outside appearance, it will be good. It will be very difficult to spot these leakages, especially if you have just come to purchase the Tuktuk na uende now the same day or within a few hours. So give yourself time, zunguka na hiyo Tuktuk, do some test rounds, check it, gurumisha, wacha let it be in the idle, let it idle for a while. Check if there are any leakages, check if there are any parts that are shaky that are not tied vizuri. Check those nuts zenye zimefunga engine so that you can be aware of how many times, how frequently the engine has been opened or how infrequent. You can be able to know if the nuts are a bit torn out, then it means there are frequently repairs happening in the engine. If the nuts are stiff and they are probably new and still with their seal, then it means that that engine is still intact, and that gives you more value for your money. So you need to make sure you check those few things. You check the engine, zunguka, iangalie vizuri, make sure, and then now from there you can now go and clean it and now ride the vehicle and see if there are any other leakages. Once again, do they spend money in order to get the worth of your money? So once you've checked the engine and the gearbox, then at least drive the Tuktuk for a whole day. Yeah, make sure you drive the Tuktuk for a whole day. No, if it's not a whole day, at least drive the Tuktuk at least for a minimum of 6 hours. You can put in the fuel. You can just decide to go a few kilometers. If it has a tracker, leave the owner with your items, let's say your national ID, your passport, or anything that, depending. And I do believe if you're performing such a transaction, the guy is telling you the machine is supposed to have some bit of trust with you. Take the Tuktuk around, around depending with where you are, just drive it around maybe for around 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers is plenty, but at least 30, 40, 50 kilometers, and you'll be able to observe if there are any issues with the Tuktuk, with the clutch system, with the engine system, with the brake system. You'll be able to get more information. This is information you will only find once you are in the Tuktuk and you're driving it yourself. Don't let a driver drive the Tuktuk for you. If you don't know how to drive the Tuktuk, then let your mechanic do it, and listen to the engine. Make sure you are attentive to the engine because it's the heart of the Tuktuk. Now you have checked the most important parts, now you can go to the outside appearance. The reason why the outside appearance is not of that much importance, it's because a Tuktuk is always customized depending on one's needs and one's preferences. So sometimes you can overlook the appearance because the Tuktuk usually doesn't come with doors, it doesn't come with mirrors, it only comes with the windscreen, and it also comes with the cover tent, with the tent cover. So that's the only thing that it comes with. So the rest of the doors, those are things that you can actually remove and replace them with new ones. The only thing that you can look into is the cost of the replacement. If it has doors, it's an advantage for you because you'll just need to have a few touches here and there or repaint the Tuktuk. If the paint is new, well and good. How many times has the Tuktuk been repainted? It will also tell you a few things about the Tuktuk itself. Always check the filler, always check the quality of the paint. If it has no paint, good for you, because I told you it's an advantage where you can bargain for the Tuktuk. So it's a disadvantage to the owner because you're the one who is going to benefit by, having more deductions. If it has good quality paint, if the paint is brand new, then that's also good for you because you get now to take the tuk-tuk without incurring any other expenses in the near future. So that's the thing about the tuk-tuk.